Lil Kim is determined to send Diddy to prison for life because she just can't stop dropping truth bombs about Diddy to make his position worse. It has only been a couple of weeks since she exposed Diddy for allegedly victimizing his female dancers and backup singers, and she is now dropping proof about how Diddy allegedly blackmailed Biggie Smalls into giving up his masters. Y'all know how there have been stories for years that Biggie Smalls and Diddy were not on good terms at the time of Biggie's death. Well, Kim is confirming that Diddy supposedly set Biggie up to do some really bad and shady things, only for Diddy to turn around and blackmail Biggie with the evidence that he had been secretly gathering on his child. This is a new low, even for Diddy. So, what dirt did Diddy have on Biggie? And did he really plot to kill him? Let's break it down, okay? So y'all might want to add blackmail to the very long list of things that Diddy has been accused of, because Lil Kim just spoke about Diddy's friendship with Biggie Smalls and girl. It is worse than anything that we could have ever imagined. Now we know that Lil Kim considers Diddy to be one of her biggest opponents in the business, and she has never held back on how much she doesn't like him. She even claimed that she would never forget Diddy, and that they would never be on good terms.
There ever a chance of
No.
reconciling? No?
Next question.
Never be a Junior Mafia album?
Never.
Never?
Never.
Okay. At all?
Never.
Okay. Are you sure now? Okay.
Never.
What about outside of the business? You two actually coming to peace?
At this point, I would say never.
Okay.
At this point, I would say never. You know, only God directs my life, so I can't say if I would ever speak to him in a way future. But at this point, no.
Never.
I have not seen a single change in him. You know, I've seen a bunch of talk and a bunch of contradictions, so.
A couple of years ago, new information came to light when a voice recording by Kim leaked online, where she accused Diddy of being selfish and disloyal, adding that he often did things to people who were under him, and he managed to get away with it because of his ties and money.
You know, at the end of the day, like, Puffy is Puffy. I mean, you know, it's all about what he can do, what he can give to people. That's it. Puffy it's all about himself a lot of times.
At the time, we were wondering what on earth she was talking about, but she just came out to talk about Diddy's relationship with the notorious Big, aka Biggie Smalls, claiming that Diddy allegedly blackmailed Biggie throughout his life with some crazy information that would have ruined Biggie's life if Diddy had leaked it, if you're wondering why Diddy would blackmail his prize rapper. Well, it all came down to money and ego. See, according to numerous sources at the time, Biggie had realized that Diddy was allegedly robbing him blind and had given him a bad deal. He realized that he could do so much better than what Diddy was giving him, and he made up his mind to leave. But according to Gandil, not only did Biggie want to leave, but he was also taking Lil Kim Cameron Jr. Mafia, Charlie Baltimore, and a couple other artists were with him because he had won a deal for millions of dollars.
But I'm about to get this money. So he showed me, I said, you about to get that money? He said, yeah, look at this. It had Charlie Baltimore, Cameron, Little C's, Lil Kim, Junior Mafia, Tracy, I don't know, Tracy Murray,
Tracy Lee.
Tracy Lee, and the commission. And I think the contract was for so many years for like 62 million, it comes out to like $62 million.
Well, Diddy couldn't let that happen because that would ruin him and his label, so he decided to blackmail Biggie into staying threatening to ruin his career by leaking his secrets. So what secrets are we talking about exactly? Well, according to Lil Kim, did he allegedly encourage Biggie Smalls to put his hands on her and then turned around to blackmail Biggie with that information? Okay, let's back this up. Back in the day, Lil Kim and Biggie used to have an affair, even though he was married to Faith Evans at the time. Now you think that with Biggie keeping Lil Kim as a side piece and talking about how he cared for her, he would treat her well, right? Well, no, the relationship was toxic on so many levels that I can't even begin to get into. And the crazy part is that Lil Kim wasn't even the Lulu about the relationship because she knew that it was toxic, but she loved him too much to leave. She got pregnant with Biggie's baby, but she chose to get rid of it because she knew that she couldn't bring a baby into that mess. In a recent interview, she explained why she made that choice. I already knew the kind of connection that Biggie and I had, and I knew that having a child was something that couldn't take place, like that wasn't messy enough. Biggie was also cheating on Kim and Faith with other women. Kim was super jealous of that, and she tried to fight his other side pieces, which led to Biggie putting his hands on Kim when she got too jealous of Biggie's part. The manager also told how Biggie would often put his hands on Kim. On one occasion, Kim had gotten jealous because Biggie had brought some of his other side pieces to the studio, and she started fighting them. Biggie wasn't happy with this, according to the manager. When Big came, it got even worse. He was choking Kim in the studio elevator. That was the first time I literally saw him fighting. Drock was in the elevator with them trying to break it up. I used to tell her, "Come on, you have to let this go." Sometimes a man can kill your self-esteem, and when he got mad with her, he would do that. Eventually, Faith Evans found out about the affair, and she was angry because she couldn't believe that Biggie and Kim would betray her like that.
But I didn't know anything about them for, this is probably at least a year and a half after, we were together. So I didn't know anything about them. I didn't even think anything about them, to be quite honest.
But even though she didn't think that there was an affair going on right under her nose, she did notice that Biggie was often hot and cold when it came to Kim, and sometimes he got so unbelievably cruel that even Faith found it weird in her memoir. She talked about how Biggie was often mean to Kim, and he would yell at her and threaten to kill her career by kicking her out of the junior mafia. I once heard him screaming at her at his mother's house. "Although I had no idea why you think you are special," he screamed. "I'll go get Inga right now," while Kim cried big and kept yelling at her. "We don't need you for this group. Angle would be happy to be down. You ain't special. He said I will replace you with quickness. Don't forget that." For those who don't know who Inga is, it's Foxy Brown. What makes this situation especially messy is that Foxy Brown and Lil Kim were in a very fierce competition at the time. So Biggie throwing this in Lil Kim's face was messed up on so many levels. But Faith wasn't dumb, and she soon started adding 2 and 2 together, and she realized that the math wasn't exactly making sense.
I do recall one time with him finding out she was at our apartment and he telling me that's not cool. But I mean, none of that, why wouldn't it be cool? You know what I mean? So anyway, but still, when you're not looking for sometimes when you ain't looking for stuff, you just ain't gonna see it. I mean, you know what I mean? I wasn't looking.
Faith also admitted that Kim never really liked her and always had an attitude toward her, even though she never understood why.
You said that at a white party, you actually walked up to Kim and congratulated her on her success, and she said, "Who's that?"
Yeah, I did.
Do you think that Kim actually didn't know who you were, or do you think that that was just shade at that point?
I definitely think it was shade. I'm sure she knows pretty much what I look like.
Well, Faith's suspicions were finally confirmed when she caught Lil Kim in bed with Biggie on Christmas Eve. In her memoir, she revealed that she quickly started beating on Kim, even though she couldn't see her face because she was under the covers. "I grabbed some chick out of the bed and started her. At some point, the chick's wig came off in my hand. It was a short crop wig. I stopped throwing punches for a minute to get a good look at the chick I was up. It was Lil Kim. She was completely butt naked yelling as I pushed her around the room. If you think that Lil Kim would be remorseful or ashamed, well, you would be wrong because she wasn't, and she tried to get back at Faith. Faith said when I left a few hours later to get the kids, I noticed that Kim had taken my key to my Land Cruiser and scratched up my entire car from the hood to the back bumper. But that was not all because Kim's road manager claimed that Kim was so pissed that she once threatened Faith. Kim jumped out of the car and pulled a on Faith and said I will blow her brains out. A child having an affair with someone's husband and then threatening the wife is some crazy boldness. But y'all want to know what's truly crazy is that Biggie was also having an affair with Kim's cousin at the time. Girl, that man was wing according to Jermaine Dupri. Kim confronted Biggie about this, but he pulled on her.
At this particular point in time, this was the time when Big, I'm thinking he Kim's sister. Right? This is in the music though.
Okay, in the music, okay.
This is in the music. And she found out about it. So she was upset when she came to the studio about this.
So he felt like he could take her life if she challenged him. And that's just crazy. And Jermaine wasn't C either because Kim also confirmed it in a recent interview. Kim finally opened up about her toxic and violent relationship with Biggie, and it's just crazy.
It's crazy. I don't see, it's not wrong with him telling the story. It's a part of history, you know?
So you remember that day?
Of course I remember that day. I mean, the story is not exactly how he said it, but it's very close to the truth. And you know, I mean, we did have a very violent relationship. I'm like, I don't know, I hate that, but like for a while that was like all I attracted was like.
When we were together, it always turned into a lover's quarrel or a lover's nest.
But y'all know the crazy part about this? It's that she put Biggie's violence on him being a Gemini.
He's a Gemini.
All I know is Geminis. And I've learned how to really deal with Geminis. Geminis, they really are two people. And they're good people too. But when they turn into that other person, it's so hard to identify who that other person is.
Well, she is now singing a different tune now, claiming that Diddy allegedly encouraged Biggie to put hands on her, while Diddy secretly got evidence on him. And when Biggie made plans to leave, bad boy Diddy blackmailed him with this evidence to keep him in line. Allegedly, the last thing that Biggie needed was a major scandal like that. Well, he was making big plans to branch out, so Diddy was able to keep him in line at least for a while. And when that no longer worked, and Biggie was about to call Diddy's bluff, sources claimed that Diddy had no intention of letting Biggie walk away, and Diddy's former bodyguard, Uncle Ron, is one of such sources. In fact, not only did Uncle Ron tell us that Diddy wanted Biggie dead, but that Diddy reportedly offered him $30,000 to take Biggie out.
Jay-Z and Puffy wanted Biggie. Bottom line. You don't have to believe me, believe the facts. Here's a man that wanted to leave Bad Boy. He wanted to do his own thing. He mentioned several times how he was tired of being used that he was bigger than Bad Boy itself. I was offered $30,000 to perform a hit on Biggie Smalls. March 1st of 1997, I was approached by Diddy to perform a hit on one of his artists. Finding out that he wanted all the rights to all his catalogs. I turned him down because I also found out that very night that Biggie had plans of leaving Bad Boy.
Fans commented, yes, Diddy definitely had something to do with Pac and Biggie in my view, and he done Kim wrong. AF Karma always come back around. Are you serious? All these years, for 25 plus years, all y'all kept y'all mouths closed tight about these, and the eve of the music industry has done to people for years now. You want to talk? Get the F out of here. And Biggie wasn't cross-eyed. He just had to keep an eye out on Diddy. Y'all let me know what your thoughts are on this, and then check out this next video.